Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I know it's been such a break, but welcome back to Books and Booze, the series where the opinionated Lushes invite on indie authors, where they get to read a little bit of their book, and we get to drink along with it and ask them some questions about it afterwards. So I'm going to pass it to Dawn to introduce this week's author.
Hey everyone, and welcome back. I want to welcome Rebecca Massey with her book, Violent Delights. I got to read it. I'm super excited to talk about this book. But let's talk a little bit about you. Where are you from? When did you start writing? Do you have any animals? We would love to know the names.
I am originally from Memphis, and now I live far off in the woods in Mississippi. I don't even remember when I started writing. It's kind of something I've always done. It's the me thing. I think at like 12 years old, I just decided what I was going to do with the rest of my life, and I ran with it, and here we are.
Gosh, I wish it was that easy for the rest of us.
I know. Yeah. I'm like almost 40 and I'm still like, what do I want to be when I grow up? You know, like it's
that's okay. I had I'm 32, and like the other morning I remembered I was 32, and I had like an existential crisis because it's like I don't feel like I'm like mature enough to be in my 30s.
Right? Yeah.
I feel like millennials we just decided like, you know what, we're just gonna be perpetual teenagers.
Pretty much.
That's just the way we cope with life. Because I'm also 32, so I get the feeling.
Yes.
Yeah. You're just, you know what? We're just going to be awkward and like just ride it. That feeling for the rest of our lives. Just like,
that's it.
Confusion and awkwardness. Like this is how we want to live our lives. So let's go with it.
We're going to be like some really cool old people though.
Yeah.
Oh, like when we peek into our 60s, it's going to be an interesting generation.
Yeah, the
not like 20 something years for me. I'm like,
I know I'm not ready for like 60. It's so far away, but it's really
I'm planning my retirement home plan right now. Like I got plans. Scooter races, shitting on nurses. We already know what my plans are.
We're gonna have like DJs in the club.
We're gonna bring back skating rinks.
Oh my
retirement home skating rinks.
Roller rinks. Yeah, that'd be so much fun. Everybody will have to like those like special like things that hold them up because like if you fall when you're older, you're like
we're all holding chairs like those plastic chairs,
like toddlers. Yeah. But pillows
there
everywhere.
With your little walker, the little balls.
You know we're gonna break our hips, right? Like that's like the first thing to go.
That's fine.
That's fine. My knees went because back when I was like you know, back in the day, like dance moves getting low, that was the thing. My knees were done by 25. So
that's true. Yeah. So you want to tell us a little bit about your book, Violent Delights?
Violent Delights. It's a dark hitchhiker romance. It's actually, I think. It's not really my first dark romance, but I would say it would be my like first contemporary dark romance that came out. And it's so hard for me to explain it because obviously there's like spoilers that I could give away that I don't want to give away. But essentially you have your female main character who's trying to get away from a bad situation, and the guy she picks up on the side of the road is also trying to escape a unfortunate situation, and kind of it's just chaos ensues from there, as things naturally would when you pick up a random hitchhiker in the middle of the highway. So,
you know, my fantasies right there. Yeah.
You want to pick somebody up, or you want to be picked up?
Yeah, I was about to ask the same question.
I don't care as long as they're dangerous and like mysterious, you know, like.
Okay, well, you know what?
Go to random Steve at the gas station.
Well, I was gonna say the first step is first you'll have to get your license. Like, you can't pick up a hitchhiker. Like, by the way, I'm driving illegally.
Hitchhiker, okay? Like, I'm gonna get some strange guy's car or whatever.
Fun fact, though, if you want to, the length of highway that Cherry picks up Casper in Violent Delights does exist. It is between Evansville and Bloomington. It is a road I've actually traveled, and it is like 90 miles of nothing. There is one exit. You better hope you don't miss it.
Oh my gosh. You and Dave could role play. You guys go down.
You could so go take that actual road trip, because that's where most of those locations came from. I've been on that actual road trip.
Oh, that's
Okay.
cool.
Now that's what I'm gonna do for my anniversary. Just role play.
that's good.
Road trip, role play. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't go to the Lake Michigan part though. You can probably skip that.
Yeah. I'm gonna skip that part.
Gross, Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
To be fair, all the Great Lakes are gross. Like,
That's true.
they are. We're not just picking on Michigan.
Isn't Superior actually nice, or is it Huron?
No, it's none. Lake
It's
Huron.
not- they're all gross now.
Lake Huron isn't a Great Lake. It's just the lake we have, and
Okay.
it's not as polluted. But the further
I thought
north
the ones
you
up
are,
north were nicer than
yeah,
like
the
Fort
further
Erie
north,
and
the further north you go, the safer the fish are to eat.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, the world. This is why we didn't grow up.
that's right. This is why we're all teenagers still, because
Because the adults in our life let the world go to shit. So I refuse. I refuse to grow up.
Sonia, you want to tell us our drink words for tonight?
Yes, they are cherry, Casper, Chicago, and phone.
Woohoo! All right, whenever you're ready, you can read your chapter, and we can drink.
I'm just gonna mute me here so my slurping doesn't interrupt.
And our burping.
Oh, that's me. I'm the burper here.
I've actually never read aloud for people before either, so we're gonna see how this goes.
You're actually not the first author to be on our show to say that. It's actually I'm surprised at how common that is, that you don't read the work aloud.
I feel like back in the day, it was a more common thing to really kind of have readings from your work. And nowadays it's all social media. So it's like 130 characters of this is the book, go get it.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah. So you got to pitch it really fast. Okay. So I'm actually going to be reading from chapter 2 because this is where kind of things actually really kick in. So she's already picked up Casper, who is our hitchhiker. So the radio is still playing music as we drive down the dark highway. I'm a bad conversationalist. The silence feels heavy, but I'm not really sure if he's up for having a conversation. He appears like one of those locked up men who only speak when needed. Where are you heading? I ask. Chicago. Where are you coming from? Eddyville. Yep, he's that sort of guy. He has his elbow propped up on the window's edge as his fingers hang out the open window. I can see a tattooed ink along his arm. It's a dagger ripping through a female's body. A naked female. I probably should have taken notice of that before asking to get him into my SUV. Are you sure this was a good idea, Cherry? I'm thinking to myself and staring out the windshield as he turns and watches me. His gaze is steady. A predator's gaze. Is he sizing me up? No. Surely, if he meant to harm me, he would have done it on the side of the road where there were no witnesses, right? I can just hear my mother scolding me if she ever finds out I did this. She's never going to find out. This is one of those stories that I'll carry to my deathbed, or maybe only admit when she's on hers. Cherry, he says. The sound of my name on his lips is seductive. Did he intend for it to be? Giving a half grin, I glance at him. Is that really your name? He asked. I nod. Yes. My mother thought it was sweet. Sweet, he chuckles, the corner of his mouth tipping up to show his sharp canines. Casper, I say. That isn't a common name either. It isn't, he agrees. It's what people name their dogs. It isn't that bad, I tell him. It has a dark mystique to it. Dark mystique? What the fuck, Cherry? He's quiet as he continues to ponder me. I cannot tell what it is he is thinking. Does he think I'm attractive? Is he gauging his odds with me if he said something flirty? Does he just think I'm crazy for picking up a dark stranger from the side of the highway? It's been years since someone has considered me so closely. I don't really know how to respond to it. I feel like a deer in the headlights. My thoughts are interrupted when my phone dings. The weak signal did not let the call come through, but the voicemail notification pops up on my screen with Ricky's name. I click the screen off, taking a slow breath. So, he realized I'm not coming home. Casper stares at the phone, his eyes narrowing for a moment before he shifts in his seat. His legs are almost too long to fit in the space between the chair and the dash. Where are you going, Cherry? He asks. Michigan, I tell him. I probably shouldn't be telling him. He nods, turning to look out the dark window. There are some faint lights far off in the distance, but other than 3 or 4 cars up ahead, there's nothing to see but black. Where are you coming from? Memphis, I tell him. I'm moving. He glances into the back of the vehicle. Other than his bag on the seat, there are 2 suitcases in the trunk. They aren't big, but they were all I could carry out quietly without waking Ricky up. I am a bit of a minimalist, I tell him, trying to play off my lack of luggage. A text from Ricky pops in just as my phone manages to pick up a second bar of signal. There's no privacy blur on the message, and the long string of curses appears just below his name. I click the screen off again and grab my phone from the holder, tossing it into the cup holder between us. I'll have to put on the do not disturb once I have a chance. Casper is quiet as he continues to stare at me. His eyes are just dark enough that I cannot gauge what he is thinking as the silence permeates the air around us. Who you running away from, Cherry? He asked. What makes you think I'm running from anything? I know the look, he answers. People who run, they never really settle. Well, I guess it's a good thing I'm just on a road trip. I smile at him. My fingers tighten on the steering wheel. My phone dings again, the sound playing through the SUV's radio system. I hit the off button on the console and Casper shifts in his seat, dropping his hands into his lap. There are other tattoos on his arms. I can see the dark outlines, but can't make out the designs in the dim light. Are you from Chicago? I asked, trying to end the tense silence pressing down on us. No, he tells me. Not really. Grew up in Kentucky, moved to Chicago when I was 19. Came back to Kentucky a few years ago. That must be where the accent's from, I note. Being a transplant from the North, I've always enjoyed hearing the different variations in Southern accents. Each state has its own dialect, and each region in the States has their own twangs they add to it. Ricky was from Memphis. He was working on the barges when I met him in my hometown in Michigan. When he went back south, I followed. It wasn't long before I realized he had only brought me so far from home to isolate me from anyone but him. We pass a sign that says the exit is only 40 miles away. Still a bit of a trek, but it's something. I point as the green square flashes by and Casper glances at it before the road becomes nothing but black again. The phone lights up in the console between us, casting a blue glow on Casper's features as he glances down at it. Does he know where you're going? He asks. I sigh, glancing at a car that is speeding by in the southbound lane. I don't really want to talk about it with someone I met on the side of the road. Understandable. You know cell phones have trackers, right? My eyes widen as I glance at him before looking down at the phone. I can turn it off, he tells me. For a moment, I debate it. Picking up a man on the side of a dark highway is about all the danger I needed one day. But if Ricky is able to use my phone to find me, he will know where I'm going. If he saw me crossing into Indiana, it would only take a few seconds to pinpoint that I was heading home. And he's likely to take a flight to make sure he's there when I show up on my mother's doorstep. Can you? I ask softly, trying to keep my lip from quivering. He nods. He picks up the phone and holds the screen toward me. I type in the code and he opens the settings apps before hitting a few buttons and clicking off the screen. Signal's coming back, he says, dropping the phone back into the console. What type of phone do you have? You can start charging it, I say, yanking my own charger out and holding it up for him. I don't have a phone, he answers. I freeze. You said it was dead. Easy lie, he muses, pushing my hand down as he shrugs his shoulders. Then how? The next exit is the last one until Bloomington. Do you have enough gas to get there? He cuts me off. I nod, my fingers still clutched around the charger's cord. He follows the gesture, leaning forward in his seat and reaching behind him. He pulls a gun from his waistband and points it at me. The black metal shines even in the dim blue light from the dashboard. Then keep driving.
Dear listener, did you miss us? From the last page of the last book you read, we know that you've been anxiously awaiting for the latest news regarding the return of Book Talk's 3 most forgettable influences. I'm here to tell you that the wait is nearly over. Prepare your dance cards because this season in the ton is shaping up to be quite the spectacle.
Cliffhanger much?
Yeah, what's happening?
Whoa, that escalated quickly. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
He's like, I'll help you out, and then womp womp womp.
You're like, you should just keep driving.
Yeah.
I would just been like, okay.
You are living too deep in this fantasy. There is book fantasies, and then there is like, okay, we need some real life.
Yeah,
Let's not do
therapy.
this.
This is why I'm in therapy. Okay.
No, okay, Dawn's gonna be like 70 years old, and she's gonna be like, you know what? Life is short. I should live these out. And then she's just gonna be this old woman on the side of the road, just trying to find. She's like, come on, I'm cool, guys.
In, like Las Vegas or something. Like I'm doing it all out. I don't care.
I want to ask a question first, because in our little green room, Rebecca told us she has a podcast. I would love to know more about that.
Yeah.
I like knowing about podcast people.
The podcast that I host is Drinking Ink. And it's me and two other book talkers, Mia from at Mia's Books and Chaos, and then Britt from Of Path and Pages. We actually just launched our 4th season. This one has kind of a Bridgerton theme to it. So when you see all of our season 4 promo stuff, it's us in like Regency get up in cartoon form.
That's great.
That's so cute.
But usually we either do author interviews, we've interviewed some narrators, some other big book talkers and things like that. We just talk about all the bookish things.
That's
I love it.
amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I will link to your podcast in the description below. So everyone listening to this episode, yeah, you want to hear book talkers talk, that's the way to go.
Over on that side, I am the Azriel. I am the quiet one. You will forget I'm there until I just randomly say something.
That's usually me.
That's
In
the John Marie.
podcast, I'm usually the quiet one. Not in these episodes, but normally like in our regular episodes, I'm totally quiet.
You sometimes hear a, yeah.
No, and the worst part is editing. Sometimes I have to cut those yeahs because there's too many of them. Like you can't go yeah throughout the whole entire podcast. So I have to like cut some of them. I'm like, oh, but this is gonna lower her word count.
Yeah, you're like, oh, let's stop Marie.
That's more than I'll give on mine sometimes. Like I talk, but like the ongoing joke is I'm the Azriel of the group. I'm sitting in a corner until you forget I'm there. And then I'll suddenly speak and you're like, oh shit, where'd you come from?
Yeah, I forgot you were there.
Basically, yeah.
Amazing.
So you're going to Books and Bourbon in Kentucky, is that correct?
I am.
So are we.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Wow, we could see you like in person.
I know. Everyone's gonna find out I'm socially awkward.
So are we. There will be everybody else there.
Everyone keeps telling me that, which makes it funny. It's just going to be this giant room of socially awkward introverts. Like,
they're gonna always yell over people too because we don't know our volume temp, and like it's just gonna be chaos, I think, and it's gonna be amazing.
Awkward chaos is the best type of chaos. That's why I have the most fun.
Yeah, it's our people. All of our people are gonna be in one room. It's gonna be epic.
And then we're going to the bourbon capital, so like obviously alcohol's involved. It's gonna be a show.
Yeah.
My poor husband. My husband is coming along with me, and he like knows the community I'm in, but he doesn't know the community.
He
He's
knows
about
of
to find
it. Yeah.
Like, you're about to find out.
Has he read your books?
He has read 2 of my books. He has read Immortelle, which was my like debut indie work. And he has read In His Web, which was like my debut Monster Corn. So
he's read the important stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. We love a supportive husband here.
We do.
Yes. Yeah, they're the best kind.
Yes.
Because then what's the point, right?
Then just marry a woman.
Oddly enough, though, he's not a reader, but last year he got into audiobooks. Well, he was listening to some kind of like podcast drama series, and he would explain it to me, and I'm like, yeah, that's mafia romance. And he's like, is that what it is? I'm like, yeah, that's a mafia. And he would come in talking so excited because this character did something, and he's like, oh my gosh, so-and-so is going to marry this person, but she's actually sleeping with this person, and this is so-and-so's baby. And I'm like, that's a mafia romance. Like, you're listening to. And when he got done with it, he came to me and he's like, do you have any more? And I'm like, oh, do I have something? So the first thing I gave him was Haunting Adeline. And now, to this day, that man would leave me for Zade Meadows in a heartbeat. completely cis straight male, but he would leave me for Zayd Meadows if he had the opportunity. And I know what? I'm not even mad because I would too.
It's that scar by the eye for Zayd. That scar, that's what does it for me. And stalking. Like, I want someone to stalk me and leave roses to show me that they were in my presence, but not there.
Yeah, just that's the best relationships. Yeah, you were there, but you're not in my face. So
Yeah. Like you exist, but you don't exist.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're gonna be at Books and Bourbon. That is amazing. Is there any other authors that are going that you're excited to see?
One of them that's going to be there is Sarah Zane, who it wasn't until we were talking with amongst the authors all going to Books and Bourbon that we put the pieces together on who we actually were. But she was one of my first followers and supporters for Immortelle when I first broke out as indie, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, you're that Rebecca," and I'm like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Oh my god, you're that Sarah."
Oh, that's
so that was a fun moment.
I love the book. I'm not I read a lot, but I'm not a writer or anything like that. And I'm not really in the book talk community, but I love it because it's just so tight knit. So I follow Dawn, obviously, and so I get to see kind of the dynamics, and it's just everyone's so supportive. It doesn't seem very competitive like some fields can be. I'm sure it probably is on some level, but it's you guys I see a lot of support as well, so I appreciate that.
Yes, yeah. I found a lot of support for other indie authors that are there's a lot of even with the same genre, right? They're all "Oh, go read this book. It's like mine, but this is how it's different." I just find it's super supportive. Not don't read it. It's trash.
It is. It's a big hype community, and if you come into the community and you kind of show that you're not going to be one of the hypers, we take a unanimous vote, and you're usually kicked out pretty quickly.
Get off the island. Get the fuck off.
The elders have spoken.
Book talk can cancel you in an hour. As soon as that grapevine starts growing, it's over.
It's usually men that creep in that try to exploit the women of the book talk community and use it to hype their stuff, like musicians or just random men who go off their looks. And it's am I your book boyfriend? We're no, stop.
Sounds like men. Am I right?
Yeah. That, or guys who are truly here for something else. They have no idea book talk exists. They don't care about book talk, but someone on book talk finds him, and it just starts that chain reaction of hey,
yeah.
And actually,
book
I'm
talk
playing
come get him or whatever, and I'm no.
Yeah. I'm playing Book Talk Bingo this year with all the drama that recycles, and one of them specifically is man holds up a book for clout. Some random dude comes up and holds up ACOTAR, gets 50,000 followers.
Oh, that's so great.
or Haunting Adeline, or some Sophie Lark book just holds it up and bam, bam, bam. They get 100,000 views, and then I'm man,
usually they're topless,
for 3 years.
Right?
Are they topless? They're
because then maybe you should be topless.
No, but they got that chiseled jaw, and they do that thing,
Oh, they mew? They do mew.
Yeah.
But see, now the thing is mask, so you technically don't even have to be one of those super thirst trap hot guys. You just need to put a mask
or a
on.
motorcycle helmet. That's all they have to wear.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna test this. Maybe we can take these suckers down. I'll put a mask on. I got short hair.
Ghostface Gulf Coast, I think that's the way his name is said. He's going to be at Books and Bourbon.
Yeah, he wears the mask too.
He's one of the mask guys. Yeah. And he's going to be at Books and Bourbon.
Oh my gosh, we should just bring a couple random books and just be hey, can you hold this up for us, and just but have them have really gross feminine titles, but not let them see them right away. We can always put a cover on them, and then just have him hold them up and just see what he does.
Have him sitting there reading a copy of The Dragon's Bride.
Yeah.
With that classic Harlequin cover, which given that he's going to this event, I think he would probably go along with it. He is pretty aware of what he's about to get into.
We're using him as a spokesperson half the time. He should be.
Then come to our signing event. We have shirtless Ghost Daddy.
Whatever brings the people in, you know?
Right?
That's
Oh my
basically
gosh,
it.
all the like midlife moms away for the weekend from their kids.
Midlife.
That's what we are. That's me.
I know, that's me, but like they're all going to go there, but they're like, are you pretty or am I having a hot flash? You know, like it's gonna be a very confusing time for some women. I have real questions, by the way. Since we're on the topic of Ghost Daddy guy, right now, who is your favorite book partner, significant other, and what it is about this character that gets you going?
Oh my god.
Tell us all your kinks, basically.
Yeah.
Tell us.
you can say pass if you want, but
I have to think because I haven't really been reading this year. I've been in such a slump. Okay, no, Carson. Carson from, I believe it's Along for the Ride. Yeah, it's Along for the Ride.
Yes.
By Lauren Beale.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the most psychotic male she's come up with so far. I don't know why. I just like him. I like the crazy ones. It's like the woman who sees like the rabid raccoon in the trash can. They're like, oh, he's just misunderstood. He's sweet.
I can fix it.
Yes,
I
that's
see
me.
tigers on TikTok, and I'm like, how do I get to pet that kitty? I need to pet that cat. It's like you can't. It's like, yes, but it's friend shaped. I must pet.
You can pet them. It's just, I mean, things will happen, but
I
you
won't
can.
have an arm after, but like, yeah.
With enough bravery, could pet a tiger.
yeah. Is the
Or
tiger
stupidity.
asleep? Like, is he having a nap?
Yeah. No, well, why? Like, just because he's crazy and like, I haven't read the
Yeah.
book, so I don't know what he does. So
He's a psychopath. He's a psychopath, assassin, serial killer guy. I don't know. The
You're like,
crazy,
I have no idea.
there's something about the crazy ones, and it's like I think the kink comes along with the fact that it's like, you know, he's psychotic, you know, he can do a lot of messed up things, but for you, he'll be a little teddy bear.
Yeah.
Like
And,
he'll be
you
like,
can fix him. Like,
yeah. It's
At
like
first
Happy
it seems-
Valentine's Day. I pulled this guy's heart out just for you, and I'm like, oh, that's so sweet.
Organs.
Is that like a cinnamon roll? Like there's
No.
those types. There's golden retriever type, like where he's like big, mean, and bad, but for you, he's all sweet and gooey.
No,
is
the
that
golden
cinnamon
retrievers
roll?
are all that like.
Oh
sweet
yeah, I
all the
know
time.
that one.
yeah, but she's
yeah.
talking about the
Yeah.
cinnamon roll types where they're
Yeah, this-
like,
I don't
Big
think
and
they
bad
do
on the-
cinnamon.
yeah.
They are warheads. They're
Yes.
warheads. You've got to suck on them for a really. That does not sound right.
you gotta suck on them
probably-
for a really
it probably
long
sounds-
time.
Perfect, but
Yeah.
you're
But,
trying
like-
to go for something else.
You got to give it time to get adjusted to the sourness, and then you'll get the sweet on the inside. That's it.
All
They're
right.
warheads.
I like it. I
It's a
like
warhead.
it.
I like that analogy.
How long does it take you to like write a book? I'm sure it's different by book, but like I like to always ask how long.
Depending on the book, anywhere from like 3 days to a month.
Even the month is very short.
That's
like that is a
crazy, yeah.
very fast time to write a book. That's amazing.
Well, I think mainly because, like, I have the Aranor tales, which are like fantasy, but they're like retelling fantasies. So there wasn't like a whole bunch of world building to do there. So since I don't have like as extensive a world building situation as some authors do, it makes it a little easier. It's kind of like word vomit. Once I get an idea and it sticks, it's gonna come out, whether I want it to or not.
Yeah. No.
Like Violent Delights wasn't even supposed to exist. I was working on the Carnival of Curiosities, and I still had like 3 of those books to write. And I was sitting there, and I saw a random TikTok on Saturday night, and I was like, I have an idea. And 2 months later, Violent Delights released.
That's
So-
great.
That's a fast turnaround. So that's amazing. That's very, very good. Do you like set like a schedule or just whenever you feel like writing, you just write?
Whenever I feel like writing, I just write. For quick releases like that, though, since I do work with a cover artist and an editor and stuff, I kind of have to call them. And I'm like, look, hear me out, but can we rush order this? So
Like it's pretty much done. You just gotta like add your little quirks and then like off it goes.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay. So Violent Delights. Now we just talked about Lauren Beale's like Along Came the Ride, but the first one is Hitched. Was like any motivation from that, because they are kind of similar, the hitchhiker part, like was there any motivation with that book to get you to do Violent Delights?
Not really, because it wasn't until I was like halfway through like the first draft of Violent Delights that I actually stopped and I was like, wait, are people gonna think I'm copying Lauren?
No, it's not. It's nothing the same. Like at first, when I read the first chapter, I was like, oh, it's kind of similar. Like I've read something very similar to this, but then after the second chapter, it totally changes, different than Hitched, like completely.
Yeah,
especially that ending.
The ending was what I knew was going to happen. That was going to be the thing before it all. But like during the writing, I was asking people who were like, I usually like bounce ideas off of. I was like, is this too much? Are people going to think I'm... Because I'm also a Lauren Beale fangirl.
Did so well with the foreshadowing, because it didn't click to me until after it happened. And I'm like, holy fuck, they were watching that movie. I'm not going to say what movie or else you're going to know. On the tablet, in the car, repeatedly. And it was like foreshadowing of how the ending was going to be. And I was like, damn it, I didn't see it till it already happened. And I was like, fuck.
I was debating too, like, the way it specifically ended. I was like, I wonder if they're going to think, like, there's a misprint in here and something happened. Like,
right, because the ending, like, the sentence, it's run on. And I'm like, oh, that's it? And then I was like, realized what happened. I was like, I had to go back and reread that whole chapter again, just to be like, yeah, that happened. It reminds me of The Sopranos. Like, have you seen the last episode of The Sopranos?
Yeah. It cuts to black.
Oh, yeah. Like, I didn't watch that series, but I've seen clips of it.
Yeah, people got so mad because, it's in the middle of a scene. There's no signifying that it's ending. It just cuts to black. And the going theory is because he died.
Yeah.
So, I think that's interesting, though. Like, the way... Oh, God, I don't know how to explain it without giving it away.
I know. Like, I'm trying to say these things, too, without giving it away.
But...
Read the book, people. Read the books.
Yeah, you'll have to read it. But it's yeah, I don't know how to say it without giving it away. It's like
a typical ending.
Yeah, it's
like,
not.
There's foreshadow. Like, you see the ending before the ending happens if you go back and reread it after. Like, there's a lot of foreshadowing, which I loved.
I mean, technically, too, though, like, the title kind of tells you what's going on, and then, like, where was it? Like, the quote in the beginning of the book.
Yeah, like I said, tons of foreshadowing. Like, there's clues. It's going to happen. And then you don't think about it until it does. And then you're like, crap, you mind tricked us.
That's good, though. That shows, like, the writing is, like... Because, like, I hate when I can guess the ending, which I always try to do. Yeah. So it's nice when it tricks you. And then you're like, oh, yeah. It was all right in front of my face this whole time.
Yeah.
Now it makes so much sense.
Yeah. Like the Sixth Sense and the Red. Like you're like, now I know everything. Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, it was so obvious. But then, yeah.
After drinking, I can't read my own writing. Are there any messages or advice you hope your readers take away after reading this book?
Use gummy bears responsibly.
I'm curious.
I debated. Yeah, I've traumatized some people with gummy bears. Like the amount of people who have talked to me, I've been like, "Why the gummy bears?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, but it had to be done."
Did it though?
It did. It had to be done.
Oh,
like,
that's good.
This was my moment.
This is what I'm going to be known for the rest of my life is gummy bears.
Gummy bear trauma, apparently. Like, I'm scared to look into.
Oh, the poor gummy bears. They have a group now. They meet once a week.
Probably.
They might have been having fun. You don't know. The gummy bears may have enjoyed it.
I guess we'll have to ask them. Well, speaking of like advice and stuff, do you have any advice for like first time authors, maybe working on their like first book or like haven't released yet?
If you're still in the writing stage, just write. I see a lot of first time writers who kind of get hung up because usually they'll write a chapter and then they'll go back and edit a chapter, or it's like they stop and they go back every 5 chapters. And while that might be kind of keeping you in the story, it's slowing you down. Like, just word vomit the first draft. It's not going to be pretty. It's going to have holes, but just get it done. And then as far as like if you're going indie for your first like debut, I would recommend, especially if you don't have any kind of writing background or education, make the investment for an editor and put like the investment in a cover. Like all the extra funsies like fan art and character art and special editions that can come later down the road.
Good advice.
That's
good advice.
Yeah. I'm gonna go again.
Yeah, just go. Just ask questions.
I just gotta go again. Okay. So what kind of research took place for this story? How did you ensure your your vision of the dark themes are respectful and accurate?
There wasn't really a lot of research.
You're like, I just whatever was in my mind.
No, I see why your husband's such a good guy.
Now, when I usually write dark things, and like this was like my first kind of truly dark I would consider book. After my publications come out this year, it's going to look very tame. But usually I have other people in like my Discord groups, and when I'm thinking about doing something like gummy bear situations, I'm like, should I do it? Is it too far over the line? And so far they haven't told me no.
They haven't given you a limit.
I think they're like, the limit does not exist.
I'm telling them, I'm like, y'all are going to keep saying this, and one day I'm going to put something out that I specifically asked y'all 50 questions about, and y'all are going to be like, wow, you went there. And which, like, one of my upcoming works, yeah, it goes there. Now, for this...
Gummy bears? Where is this?
Oh, we got gummy bears. We're going for meat pies, but they're not the meat pies you expect they were.
I didn't know what meat pies to expect, so now I'm not...
like, you're like, whoa, I know it's definitely not chicken, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely not chicken. Okay, we'll put it that way. Now, for this book also, like, the trip they're on, like, Cherry's coming from Memphis. She's heading to Leadville, Michigan. Catherine's trying to get to Chicago. They loop around through Gary. They take like a loop through Ohio up through like Cincinnati and Dayton and things like that. That's an actual road trip I've been on because my mother lived in Bloomington. So most of the trip and the roads they're going down, I've actually been down myself. So that's about as much research.
Our experience.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, are a lot of your books based on like real locations you've been to?
No,
just this one.
It just worked out that it was this one because like I didn't have to think about it too much. I'm like, well, where's she coming from? Memphis. Well, I'm from Memphis. Where's she going? She's trying to get north. I've never been into Michigan, but I've been to Gary, Chicago, all those other places. So I was like, well, I know this road. So I know it's an empty stretch of nothingness. So it made more sense if she's going to see a rundown car in like this dark stretch of highway where there literally is nobody. If you're out there at night between like that Evansville Bloomington stretch, it's pitch black. And if it's late enough at night, there are no cars. It's just empty. So it made more sense that she's like, well, I'm going to be the good human and stop because I know literally no one else is coming. Even the park at the very end of the book exists. I've never been to it, but
I know it's there.
It's there. I looked for it. I specifically was like digging through Google Maps. I was like, I need a good spot for them to end this story at. So for Violent Delights fans, you can go. There is a real Oak Avenue with a real park on Lake Michigan. if you so choose.
That's awesome.
It does also have one of those little park bathroom places there.
That's great. Good to know.
What's a park bathroom? Like a bathroom at the park?
Yeah, it's like a little
so,
brick
like,
building.
Beach park, there's those like stalls, like the house.
Yeah.
Because there's many things you can do in a bathroom.
Right. I was just like, there's a bathroom at the park. So I was like, don't most parks have bathrooms? But I guess they don't.
No.
Not if it's not big enough.
Major parks, like major big parks, have bathrooms, but not small little parks. I'm trying to think. I don't have any real big questions. I think I asked all mine.
Oh.
Okay.
All right.
I have. Can you tease any upcoming projects or books you are working on?
I can, but there's a lot.
You're like, I don't know what to pick.
Well, like, do you want the rundown or like the what's coming closest?
Whatever you want to give, really.
Yeah.
What
We'll
do
take
you
anything.
Yeah,
we're takers.
Yeah.
Let's give it.
So, if this episode's airing March 7th, I will have just released my second little corny demon parody with my co-author, Adeline Graves. It is a series of demons who are accidentally summoned when they're not supposed to be summoned, or it's like these people are trying to summon like the demon for revenge or the demon for lust, and they get somebody else on accident. Something goes wrong. And the second one that's coming out is the demon of gluttony who gets summoned into a mall Easter bunny suit.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
So it's just a fun
in time for the holiday.
Yeah.
We released a snowman one for Christmas, and now we have the Easter bunny. And then there'll be a couple more coming this year. And then right after this, somewhere in April or May, I'll be releasing the first of a mafia romance series. They're standalones, but they all take place in the same world. It's called The Syndicate. This first one is a Why Choose Forced Proximity. It's actually titled Forced Proximity. So it's forced proximity, it's Why Choose. It's like arranged marriage, kind of forced marriage situation. That will be my first Why Choose. And then I have a serial killer romance coming out also somewhere within the next few months. And in the serial killer romance, it's actually called Filthy Little Angel. And someone from Violent Delights will be popping back in for a little cameo moment.
Ooh.
So...
Okay, normally I ask this question to all authors, but I don't have to ask it to you because I ask if you're a plotter or a pantser. I'm assuming pantser based on how you describe your writing, but who knows? Do you plot it out and then word vomit?
No, it's total pant. It is chaos.
Major
Like,
pantser moment.
I don't even know what's gonna happen. Like, I find out the same moment y'all do. Like,
like, oh, I wrote that, yeah.
We got to this point in the story, and this is what happened. That's all I know.
Okay, so how do you find character development then? Do you like build the character as you're writing, or do you have like a full character in your mind that you write out?
They get built as I'm writing. So
Nice.
So you don't have conversations with them prior? Like, they don't like slip into your subconscious and be like, hey, so this is what's gonna happen. Like,
yeah, no, like the way I explain it is like I'm just like the radio for my character stories, like, because I write kind of just across. I write in dark romance in general, but I might appear fantasy, contemporary, monster. You don't know what's popping up for me. It's because my characters just show up at the door. They're like, hey, I got a story, hear me out. And usually it's something very unhinged that no one else will take on. So I'm like the last resort. They're like, please. And I'm like, all right, what are we going with?
Yeah.
I love that. I love imagining all these characters going around to all the book talk authors and they're like, please write my story. And they're like, I can't. I'm too busy working on my hockey romance. And they go to the next one. Please write my story. I can't. I'm too busy working on my fairy porn. They move on to the next one. Please write my story.
I'm writing demons, man. Like, go away.
Go away. This isn't your time. Someone please. They go to
And
Rebecca.
this cowboy
Rebecca,
just
write
keeps
my
going to
story.
every
She's
book
like,
talk. He's like, write my story.
she's like, okay, but there's gummy bears involved.
There's gummy bears. The one that just released, Candied, it's the demon of gluttony, so obviously a lot of food's going to be involved.
A lot of candy.
My favorite
Easter
thing.
bunny. I'm guessing chocolate's getting in there.
There's some chocolate.
Maybe some peeps.
There's a we did not put any peeps in there, ironically. I just not thought of that.
In the
Missed
sequel.
opportunity.
Now you have to do a sequel. Call
Do
it
like
like
a bonus
Peeping
chapter,
Tom,
Dummy.
but it's just peeps. And they're
Just do a bonus chapter just for me about peeps getting it in there.
like a
We'll have to
closing
do that.
credit scene for books.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that would be funny. That would be hilarious. The Peep Show.
Ah, that's a good one.
Yay! There you go. Now
There you go. Now
to.
it's in the universe. You have to do it now.
Now you have to do it. Yeah.
We gotta do a short story. The Peep Show.
Dedicated to
Obviously, I'm
Dawn.
gonna read it.
I can name the main character Dawn. Dawn's gonna be the female of the Peep Show.
All right.
Aw, that's so sweet.
I love it. I always
She's not-
wanted to be part of a peep show.
She says that, and then she's gonna be eating like specially coated marshmallows of some sort,
Yeah.
and then she's gonna be like, "This is me. This is the way I've been immortalized."
This is it, guys.
Although, if you're like out there looking for dark hitchhikers in real life, I don't think the peeps are gonna.
They're not gonna
Yeah.
bother.
I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah.
it's gonna really deter
You'll
you.
be like, yeah.
I'm gonna get so excited.
She's like, it's not dangerous enough.
You're a marshmallow. Come on, tough it up.
They're like killer peeps. Like they come in an army. Like
Are you imagining actual peeps and not people
me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
as the characters?
Yeah. They love marshmallow peeps, and they're all coming at. Sorry, that's how I'm imagining it.
Yeah.
And I'm imagining them.
About.
I'm imagining like them just like laying you down, Dawn, and then all of them just going all over you, and you're just like, it
That's really
tickles.
sticky.
Look, if Vera can do what she did with the door, we can have a peep army.
It's true.
The world
Don't forget about
is
the polo.
the limit does not exist.
It doesn't.
It genuinely doesn't, because when me and my co-authors sit here and write our demon stories, they're meant to be corny and stupid and funny, and we're like, does this sound reasonable? And we eventually got to a point where we're like, you know what? And we always go back to Vera. We're like, you know what? If Vera can get away with it, we can too. Like, look what
Yep.
she's done.
She made people fall in love with the door, man. I don't know how you did it, but you did. And then, like I said, there's the polo one. I was like, okay.
Art is subjective.
Yeah.
That's what the lesson is. Art is subjective.
Book Talk is out to see like what object we finally come up with that you can't bang. That just we don't want to do it.
Okay, we need to find someone to write a podcaster microphone romance for us specifically.
There is I don't know if it's like a microphone sentient object, but there's a book called The Power Receiver. Well, there's even that one where somebody's getting banged by the book reviews. Like they come
like 3 stars is not good enough. Like I don't
they come
understand.
out of the computer and bang this chick. The book reviews do.
There
I
is
feel
no
like that
limit.
was a personal experience that the author wrote about.
She literally got fucked.
Oh, man.
She just masturbates to like the book reviews, and she's like, "People will like this."
Her own
Apparently they
reviews.
did.
Yeah.
They read it, so there's one with there's an eye watch. There's Clippy.
Oh, we
we
know
talked about
Clippy.
Clippy.
We know Clippy.
Yeah.
We're familiar
Read
with that one.
There's just nothing yet. So
Yeah.
We haven't found the line.
that's why the aliens won't visit us. Because try and fuck them. And they're like, no, we're not ready for that.
How do you know the
Too much
aliens aren't
commitment.
trying to fuck us? You know, they might come in and be even dirtier than we are. They got tentacles.
That's why they're
But we would like it as
their
humans,
main
we'd be
goal.
like, okay.
Y'all are gonna sit there and be like, "Are you abducting me? Really? Oh my god!"
Where's
Helping,
the probe? I'm all out of questions. I think I got
Yeah.
more information than I was expecting.
Me too.
So-
I had a lot of fun. Yeah. It was good.
Do you want to tell us where you can get your books and or where we can find you? All your socials.
You can find me on TikTok as the Bookish Misfit. I'm on Instagram as r.massey.author. That's the main places you'll find me at. If you happen to come across one of the Discord groups where I unleash my chaos on the daily, you could find me there too. But yeah, that's about it.
For our YouTube watchers, we also have her TikTok link scrolling below, and we'll also have links in the description for everyone to all of Rebecca's socials as well as the podcast. So yeah, easy peasy to find. Easy peasy to find. So yeah, so thank you so much, Rebecca, for coming on.
You're
Yes,
welcome.
thank
Thanks for
you.
having me.
Yes.
And
yeah,
I can't wait until October where we get to meet.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Oh, we
Like,
can bring little autograph books. You know, you do in Disney World.
I'm bringing gummy
like-
bears.
And like everybody, like all the authors that we get to talk to, we can get them to sign it because it's like there's like spaces. Have you ever seen a Disney
Yeah.
autograph book where each star already has a pre-made page? So we can do that for each.
Okay, I was gonna just get a notebook and go around and be like, sign your name and draw a pair of boobs, and then see how each person draws a pair of boobs with their signature, and see what happens. Make
Perfect.
a collage.
Collage of boobs, yeah.
Drawn by good
Not
authors.
penises, but like that's cool.
Oh, okay. I'll give them. I'll be like, draw a genital and see what they come up with.
Yeah. your favorite sex part. And
Yeah.
then-
Oh, someone's gonna draw shoulders. I feel like someone's gonna be creative enough. They're gonna draw shoulders.
Or elbows.
Oh
Like,
yeah, they're gonna be like
penis.
the back of the knee.
Yeah. So erotic.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for coming on. This was so much fun, and again, I can't wait to meet you. And we'll see you all next time. We're gonna release a couple more episodes of Books and Booze before we end season 2 and start season 3 of it. So keep on the lookout on Thursdays for these episodes to drop. And we'll see you all next time.
Good night.
Bye.